My name is Deb Enright, and this is Money Matters. Thank you for joining us. And as always, thank you to Daryl Thompson of Raymond James for his generous sponsorship of our Money Matters program. Today, we look at the commitment Williamson County Schools has made to our students to prepare them for the 21st century workforce. The Career and Technical Program of Studies gives students the opportunity to explore and focus on the knowledge and skills and experiences needed to begin a successful career. Research shows that 18 of the country's fastest growing occupations require skills taught in career and technical classes. Today I get to talk with Pryor of Nissan North America, the Manager of Business Transformation, to better understand the importance of partnering with industry and giving our students the ability to experience work in their chosen field of study while they're still in high school. We'll ask him how his role in Nissan helps his involvement in our schools, his favorite part of working with our students, and where he hopes to take the CTE program in our schools. Every high school in the district participates in the CTE program, providing a multitude of instructions in areas including agriculture, communications, business and management, education, finance, and health science. Before I finish out the listing of all the classes available to our students, let me clarify that each school provides only certain aspects of this large listing of classes. You can find out what each high school offers by going to our wcs.edu website. To the drop-down menu under Instructional Services, click on Career and Technical Education and find out all of the offerings, which also include hospitality and tourism, information technology, law, public safety, corrections and security, manufacturing, marketing, science, engineering, and automotive technology. Today we focus on our business partners committed to giving students real-time, real-world experience in the workplace. All that right after the break. Stay with me. You're watching Money Matters. We will be right back.
I'm in.
I'm in.
I'm in.
I'm in. I'm in.
College is a big deal, and so is your ACT score. A 21 on the ACT qualifies Tennessee students for the Hope Scholarship.
Everyone deserves a chance to go to college.
That's why we're starting a program that's never been done before.
With students tutoring other students to help them get to a 21 on the ACT.
If you do that, both the student and the tutor get a free laptop.
The class of 2014 is going to make a difference, and this is how.
To help our friends and classmates be successful with the first ACT tutoring program led by students.
So help us get the class of 2014 to a 21 and beyond.
We're all in! Let's act! Woo!
And welcome back to Money Matters. Pryor Manning, Manager of Business Transformation of Nissan North America, joins us now to talk about his involvement and Nissan's participation in our career technical education programs. Welcome, Pryor. Thank you for coming to Money Matters. I'm really glad you're here. So, the reason why we thought it would be fun to have you is whenever there's a CTE meeting or a planning meeting or a program development meeting, I think your name is always on the list of those who are going to be invited. So talk to me a bit about, well, let's see where it all got started. So how did we snag such a talent as yours into helping us do more for our students in career and technology?
Okay, and thank you for letting me just come be a part of this today.
Sure.
I appreciate it. Even though it says I'm a manager of business transformation right now, before this, for my first 6 years at Nissan, I was part of their information systems group. So I was a manager in their information systems, information technology group. Nissan participates with a group called the Nashville Technology Council, which is a Middle Tennessee nonprofit consortium that tries to get IT groups together, whether that's a company or a organization within a large company like Nissan, to come together to look at how can they help promote IT within the Middle Tennessee area.
Okay.
Technology, as we'll talk about, is a growing need and concern for businesses to continue to be viable going forward. So Nissan participates in that. And as one of the things that they had done related to that is the Nashville Technology Council set up councils or advisory boards with the local colleges and with some of the school systems, Metro Nashville and Williamson County. And so I got involved with Williamson County by volunteering and wanting to participate in the Williamson County board that looked at how do we promote and improve technology, get students more aware of it.
Okay, now when we say promote technology, I immediately think as an educator, like putting tablets in the elementary schools. But I think your scope is a little broader. So can you talk about what it means to put technology in front of the students?
Yes. So our view from a technology, or our focus is, that is one aspect of it. You know, how are students prepared to use technology in the business world today? But we really are taking it a step farther than that. Businesses need people who can write programs, who can put together networks, who understand security, all from a technology perspective. And we don't have enough resources to support businesses out there and the growth of businesses.
Okay.
So how can we make students more aware of what those opportunities are, more around those types of things, you know, programming, databases, security, networks, to make them want to get excited about not only learning about it in high schools, but also following up on that or getting involved with that in college as a career option for them.
Okay, I see. So what you folks are doing, and specifically what Nissan has chosen to do, is try to expand what a student might look at when they're thinking about career choices, and help me with this, maybe even college choices, because we're looking a little bit broader than history, English, political science, all great things to study. But what you're also telling me is that for the 21st century, you need coding, programming, and this whole security thing must be, I mean, fascinating, not only just politically, but I mean, what a great workforce skill.
Yes.
So is that something that a high school kid can begin to learn, or hope to start to learn while they're still in high school?
And within Williamson County, yes, that is something high school students can start to learn. It's not in every high school, but I believe it's in 6 out of your 10 high schools, and it's expanding in more high schools, that there are classes around introduction to technology, and then there's programming classes, both from developing phone apps to more general kind of programming skills that are used in businesses, to networking classes. So they can get an exposure to that and get a feel and an understanding. Is this something they like that they want to pursue as a career?
I love that, and it's so creative as well. You know, I think when somebody says create an app, I think there was a student in London who, you probably know the story as well as I do. I think he was 16 or 17 and sold his app to Google for like 30 million.
Yes.
That's a huge incentive for me as a high school student to think about that as well. I guess really it makes it so that the stuff they do every day, they know kind of what's layered to make that even happen. Okay, so we have classes in the high schools that help kids actually learn to code, program, learn about kind of the underbelly of what IT is about. And then talk to me about what CTE hopes to do a little bit beyond the classroom. I mean, have you all talked about what you might want to do besides the classes in high school for CTE?
So some of the things it's allowed us, this advisory board, from a technology perspective to do is develop some partnerships with outside businesses. One of the initial things we did is just to create awareness. We wanted a logo that sort of defined what is IT. So we identified 10 students from different high schools, from each of the different high schools, that worked with an outside marketing firm. And the marketing firm took them through, it was like once a week for 8 weeks, through their whole marketing cycle for how you start with a large scope of ideas and narrow them down until you come up with the one that you want. And we've used that in any of our promotional material that we put out there.
Wow, so those are high school kids do. I mean, I can imagine somebody sitting around at XYZ creative firm doing that, and we've had kids do it here in the county.
Yes.
That's extraordinary for them to be able to do. And when I was listing off all the variety of things that we afford the kids at least some exposure to, what I know from the district is that the belief is it can either ignite a kid's passion to go even further, and as you said, think about college or think about life going into the workforce right after high school. But it could also help maybe a student figure out that, really, I don't really like that very much. Have you had that ever happen? Maybe not in IT, because that's so cool, but I just wonder, in any discussions,
I am
do you
not
know
aware
of
of
that?
any students, but it does give them that opportunity.
Yeah.
Other things we do, we have an event called First Camp. We just held it at Summit High School about a month ago. 200 students came through and saw different aspects of technology. So again, it could give them the chance to say, is this something I'm really interested in? Is this something I'd like to go do? So we try to give them as many opportunities as we can to see, is this an interest area? Is it something that they have skills that they could be successbody in doing?
Well, tell me about this camp. I mean, that's really interesting. So were they just CTE kids, or was it open to anybody in the district?
It was open to anybody in the district.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Even though it's tied or centered
Sure.
around CTE and IT and
Sure.
technology, it was open to any student. So we had 20 students from every high school that came and listened to companies like the Nashville Software School, like Microsoft. I can't remember some of the others right now, but several different aspects of technology so that they could see, is this of interest to them?
I like it. Well, I'm sure kids nowadays are getting bombarded with the shoulds and coulds and kind of how to position yourself in the workforce. And I guess that's what the career technology folks within the district allow those kids to do. I know that Tim Sawyer over at Centennial has a marvelous, I think it's almost 3 classes in engineering or drafting.
Yes.
And we have that 3D printer. I think we have 2 now, but I think Tim's was one of the first actually in the state perhaps. And that's been fascinating to watch kids come up with that kind of 3D thinking for some kind of engineering. And I know we also have, I can't remember what school, but I know we also have a drafting that has to do with bridges as well and software. So I think and then I've seen the health sciences where you have kids even taking the blood pressure and understanding what that's all like in terms of kind of EMS kind of work. Well, talk to me about what it's like. Have you worked with students yourself in terms of the CTE programs or in the classrooms?
I've not worked with any in the classrooms. Obviously through First Camp, participating in things like your 8th grade career fair that's coming up, where we sit and talk about technology is the way I get to interact with students. Another way that on a couple of specific instances, we've had Williamson County students come do a one-day, shadow to see what technology is about, so that I'm able to talk to them about opportunities and careers in technology. They get to meet other people at Nissan in the technology department to see what's going on. So that is where we have interacted with students, or where I have.
I think what's nice too about that is, you would obviously think about shadowing at Apple or Microsoft or Nashville Tech or at Trinisys, but it would be neat to see how technology works within a manufacturing firm. So what are some of the questions that the kid, so like when an 8th grader comes up and sees that you're at Nissan, right? And you're one of the tech gurus there at Nissan, how do you guide that conversation so that you begin to talk about tech, or is it all about car color and like the little stuff that's on the dashboard when they come and talk to you?
So they know they're in the technology section of the career fair.
Okay.
So their questions are around technology. And we talk to them about the fact that technology will be one of the top 2 or 3 growth opportunities going forward, as far as we can see, 10, 15 years out. That it consistently pays much better than a traditional business type of job. And so we talk to them in terms of those opportunities are there, and if they want to stay here in Middle Tennessee, which a lot of students do, at any point in time right now, there's about 800 to 1,000 open IT jobs here in Middle Tennessee. So as you can see, it is a it is a definite need for companies, and for companies to continue to grow, for us to attract new companies, we need to continue to have a very strong supply of, at least in our case, what we're focused on, IT resources to support those businesses.
So what we're seeing is, at least what I'm understanding from what you're saying, it's reading, it's writing, and arithmetic, but it's also coding and programming and networking and understanding kind of IT, as well as those basics that we always associate a school district with.
Yes.
So in terms of kind of, I have to say, Pryor, I think it's really neat that we have experts on a council working with technology. Nissan opens its doors to show that particular use of technology. You guys are thinking about what kind of equipment needs to happen in the schools. So there's all these things going on. Describe what you see or what you'd like to see, let's say, as we move forward in the next maybe 5 to 10 years. So if we understand that this is one of our feeders into the workforce system, what could we be doing better, differently, as a school system to strengthen the partnership as well as move kids more deliberately in terms of preparing them for those IT workforce skills?
Okay. So I think there's probably 3 things that could help Williamson County move forward from a school perspective. The first you're already doing, and that is bring your own technology. Allowing kids to have the technology in their hands to use in everyday class so that they're used to it when they get out into the workforce. And just hearing from some other school systems around, I don't think Williamson County realizes how blessed and lucky they are for kids to be able to do that. There's many school systems, you ask them what is a Word system or an Excel, spreadsheet, they have no idea what that is in other school systems, even the teachers don't. So they're very blessed to have that here and have the ability to use that in the classrooms. I think the second part is to continue to expand the offerings you have so that it's not just 6 of the high schools, but all 10 of the high schools offer technology classes so they can learn about networking, they can learn about programming, and they can get an idea, is this what I want to pursue as a career? And then I would say the third part is, how do we connect with the businesses more than just Nissan, but through things like the chamber, that we can get teachers connected with businesses so that they can see how businesses are using technology in the workplace. Can an English teacher go see what a publishing company's doing with technology and bring some of that back to their classroom as they have students do English papers. So I think those, or a science class, hook up with a company that's doing engineering, to see how maybe not add to what the teacher's doing, but supplement and help enhance how the teacher presents things to the classroom.
Oh, I like that, to show how it's all integrated. Well, I appreciate the little segue that you gave me there, right to the chamber. That was very clever. I appreciate that very much, because I took a field trip the other day to see one of the newest partnerships that directly affects our CTE program. The Williamson County Chamber of Commerce provides space for our career counselor, Rebecca Collins, to create student internships and student externships. Now, externships, I think, as you helped, but let me see if I can fill out the description a little bit. That's where a teacher would go and actually move out of the classroom for a day, a week, however long the opportunity would afford itself, and really see in real time again what that particular industry is doing, or what that particular piece of the industry is doing to enhance and actually empower their teaching a bit more.
Yes.
And in fact, even maybe bring in some experts or some executives to talk in the school.
Yes.
So those externships I can see as a really great way to build that program. So this real-time partnership maximizes the resources of the chamber and the school system to give our students the CTE experience possible. So in just a moment, we're going to see Matt Largent, who is the CEO and president of the Williamson County Chamber of Commerce, and our own Rebecca Collins, who is our CTE career counselor, talking about this brand new partnership.
We have an intentional partnership with Williamson County Schools where we are working to facilitate the connection between the business and the education community. And the way that happens is by having actually someone in the office one day a week who can make those connections between the business and education community. I think it's important to have someone actually in the office because they get a chance to interact with the business community on a day-to-day basis. We host events and meetings and committee meetings here, and to have someone actually be here on site, you're facilitating those connections in a much more meaningful, immediate way. We have dedicated space, and I would guess we're probably one of the few chambers in the country that has dedicated space for the school system for the express purposes of trying to bridge that gap between the education and the business community. And really the scope of the project is around teacher internships, around teacher externships, about making classwork relevant to these kids when they eventually get out and look for a job. It's a long-term workforce development project. And it's also a good recruitment project. When we talk to companies about moving here from out of town, we can talk about the great partnership between the schools and the education community through the Chamber of Commerce. Students are going to be a step ahead of their peers when they apply to college, when they look for jobs. Actually getting a chance to go into a company and see how the company does their work on a day-to-day basis is going to allow them to make a much more informed decision about their own career.
Or an internship may turn into a job or a scholarship into a college to work towards that degree that's going to help them further that job. Our CTE programs are our career and technical programs, and this program gives our teachers the opportunity to get out into the business world and do the teacher externships like Matt was saying, and they get to see what's going on right now. So it may have been different from when they worked in the business years ago, or maybe they don't have that industry background and they just went straight into teaching. So it gives them the opportunity to see what that's like. Each internship is going to look a little different. So up until now, each business that I've met with, they tell me what they're looking for. So if it's an IT internship or a marketing internship and the kind of student they're looking for. And then on our end in Williamson County Schools, we'll take applications and interview and make sure we're sending our top students that are going to represent Williamson County Schools the best. A typical day when I'm at the chamber office, I usually come on Mondays, and we did that strategically because that is their staff meeting day. So they have staff meeting, and there I think is probably one of the most beneficial parts of being here, because in the staff meeting everyone talks about what they have going on, their top 3 things going on that week. You can't do any more than 3. So your top 3 things, and I see, who they have meetings with, and for instance, they had a meeting with Mars, and that's something let's talk about this. Can you ask them this? This is what I'm looking for. So it's just a way to get keyed in to different businesses and different events going on with the chamber where I can network.
Yeah, that's a great thing about having Rebecca here when the rest of the staff's here, because we can talk about what our schedules are for the rest of that week and how we can plug Rebecca into what her mission is from the schools and to what we're already doing. It just makes a lot of sense that it's that day that we have that happen.
For our teacher externships, we hope we can get businesses to, as many businesses that want to, and hopefully all of our CTE teachers, because they're the ones teaching those hands-on skills, but definitely open up to any other teacher in the district. I would say 100 companies, businesses, that would be my goal. For student internships for summer, anywhere from 25 to 50. So I think we can get the businesses on board. It's getting the students interested to do it that's going to be the tough part.
And we have about 1,400 members, companies as the Chamber of Commerce, and I think making them aware that this partnership exists and making them aware of the opportunities and ways they can participate is very important, because we know the uniqueness about our county is our school system. It's the number one thing that attracts people here. It's the number one thing that attracts companies here. So the better off we can make that connection, the more likely we are to continue to grow and grow in the right way as a county.
Part of my job is building partnerships and working on our teacher externships and student internships, but I also still am doing all the other duties that I was doing previously as a CTE career counselor. And one of those duties is our Career Exploration Day that's coming up in November. And I went to a networking meeting that the Chamber hosts once a month, and there I met lots of different businesses, and one of them, we're always looking for businesses in IT to come to our career day, was Engage Media. And I would have never met her, I would have never gotten them to come to the career fair if I hadn't been in that networking meeting and met her and made that connection.
And that's great too, because we know IT is one of the biggest issues we have as a county. We know that's our biggest deficit. We run anywhere between 800 and 1,000 a deficit of IT jobs in the region. So having companies like that who can encourage kids to get involved, who show the interest and aptitude in IT, is really important for us too, from a workforce development standpoint. So education is a huge component of our new strategic plan. I mean, education leads right into workforce development, and it leads right into business recruitment. So we hope that we grow this partnership significantly over the next few years. What exactly it looks like, I don't know, but I know we're going to be much more involved and engaged with the school system than we ever have been.
So there you have it, a partnership made between classroom and boardroom aimed at providing our high school students with real-time, real-world experiences to get them ready for the 21st century workforce. Our thanks to Matt Largent and our own Rebecca for showing us that workspace in the Chamber and telling us how much we can possibly do for our students. Pryor, it's been great to have you here. Thank you for giving us your time and sharing what you're doing now and the vision you have, not only for our IT kids, but for all our career tech kids. So as we wrap up, I guess the best thing is just to ask if there's anything you'd like to add at the end.
Just say thank you for the opportunity to come and talk with you today about technology and its impact in the community. We really view IT as the new MD going forward. They are the big jobs for people to be in. They will be the magicians creating the magic in company that allow them to grow. So I appreciate the opportunity to talk about that
Great.
today.
Well, I'm sure we'll have more time to have different conversations and see where IT is going from here. I love the idea of putting it in every single school, almost like part of the, what did we say? Math and science and writing and reading and having coding and programming. So again, thank you for your time. And thank you to Nissan too for all of your support of what we're trying to do for our kids.
Thank you.
What opportunity could you create for one of our CTE students or CTE faculty to learn about your industry? Resources like the ones we've looked at today are plentiful in this area. Opening the doors of the work world to expand our CTE experience for students is critical to give them an experience beyond the classroom. Business strengthening classroom instruction is a great way to expand the resources of our school district, and that is why money matters. That is our show for today. Thank you for watching. And a big thank you again to Daryl Thompson of Raymond James for his continued support of our show. My name is Deb Enright. This is Money Matters. See you next time.
I'm Montel Williams. The Partnership for Prescription Assistance is traveling to all 50 states, making stops in more than 500 cities to help people pay for their medicine.
The PPA has been terrific. It's really changed my life.
Let me say right from the jump, this program is real. The help you can get is real. Thank you. If you need help, you don't have to wait for the bus to get on board. Just call 1-888-4PPA now to see if you may qualify. A trained specialist will help you apply. Just tell them the names of the medicine you take. You could get them free or nearly free.
It has been a lifesaver for me in more ways than one.
This past year, America's pharmaceutical companies gave away more than $5 billion worth of medicines to people in need.
It really helped me out of a tough spot.
So whether you live in a Sunshine State or the land of the midnight sun, if you need help, just call 1-888-4PPA now. The Partnership for Prescription Assistance, on the road to helping you.